This last hour is about closing things out. Fatigue starting to creep in, scenery changing, patience getting tested, and there's that quiet mental shift where you know the destination is close, but the road still has a few things left to say. Welcome to the fourth and final hour of this leg of the journey from New Tazewell, Tennessee to Montgomery, New York. If you're new here, pull up a seat and welcome to Gallavantor Caravan. My name is Jay, the Gallavantor. I've been over the road for more than a decade now, long enough to know the difference between the road people imagine and the road that actually exists. What I aim to give you on this channel is simple, an exclusive, raw, unfiltered, front seat view of my daily drive. You see what I see, you experience the road as it unfolds. No edits to soften it, no filters to dress it up. Just real miles, real decisions, and real consequences. If that sounds like your kind of ride, let's roll. Coming up on exit 46, US 6 to Milford, Pennsylvania. By this point in the run, I'm about 3 hours in, still feeling solid, but mentally starting to do that thing where you ask yourself, do I just push through and take my break at the customer? I had the time, I could have done it, but something felt off, like the drive was rushing past me and none of it was really landing. And that's usually my cue to slow my mind down a notch and actually look around. Milford is one of those places that rewards curiosity. It's not just a town you pass, it's a town that waits for you to notice it. This Milford isn't a township, it's a borough, and the county seat of Pike County, founded back in 1796 by Judge John Biddis, who named it after his family home in Wales. That alone tells you something. This place was built intentionally, not accidentally. But here's where it gets heavy. Right here in Milford sits the Pike County Historical Society Museum, and inside it is a unique artifact known as the Lincoln flag. That's the actual flag that hung in President Abraham Lincoln's box at Ford's Theater the night he was assassinated. When Lincoln was shot, the stage manager bundled that flag under his head. It still bears his blood. That flag ended up here because Jeannie Gourlay, an actress in Our American Cousin, the play Lincoln was watching, later moved to Milford. Think about that for a second. World-changing history, ending up in a quiet Pennsylvania town because of one human decision. And Milford didn't stop there. Over the years, it turned into a quiet cultural magnet. The Black Bear Film Festival pulled in actors like Farley Granger and Tab Hunter. The Milford Music Festival featured Vanessa Carlton, who actually grew up here, and even Pete Seeger played here in 2013. Writers like Gloria Steinem, Alan Alda, Lee Child, and Susan Faludi all passed through this town. Then you've got residents and connections that read like Trivia Night Gone Rogue, Mary Pickford, Frank McCourt, Christopher Makos, even John A. Gotti kept a residence here at one point. So yeah, on a map it looks small, but Milford has weight. It's one of those places that reminds you size has nothing to do with impact. All right, back to the road. For a while now, I'd been slowly closing in on this truck ahead of me, and I knew the moment was coming where I'd have to get past him, so I bided my time, just sitting there waiting for the opening to show itself, because forcing it never ends well. By this point, I was starting to feel it. I was creeping up on that 4-hour driving mark, the kind where you're still functional but your patience has officially clocked out. And the sun was absolutely butchering my video, just brutal. Late afternoon glare bounced off everything like it had a personal problem with my dash cam. The only real relief came from those brief pockets of tree shade, little moments of mercy that last about 2 seconds, and then it's right back to staring into a glowing ball of rage. And of course, it doesn't help that the dash cam is mounted right up on the windshield, perfectly positioned to catch every single ounce of that nonsense. This stretch really opens up as you start descending the hill toward the New York State border, and honestly, it's one of those moments where the scenery just sneaks up on you. The road drops away, the trees pull back a bit, and suddenly you get that quiet reminder that not every mile has to be ugly to be productive. We're coming up on the last exit in Pennsylvania, exit 53, US 6 Highway 209 to Matamoras, right here in the Milford area. Matamoras is one of those blink and you miss it towns that exists exactly where it needs to. It sits right along the Delaware River, acting as a natural handoff point between Pennsylvania and New York. Back in the day, this was a river crossing, a trade spot, a place where people stopped because geography forced them to. Now it's quieter, but you can still feel that border town energy. Same road, same truck, same driver, but in about 30 seconds, a whole new rule book comes into play. That's always been fascinating to me. You don't change, the scenery barely changes, but cross that line and suddenly you're playing by a different set of expectations. We're coming up on the Port Jervis, New York / Sussex County, Pennsylvania exit 1. And just like that, we're officially in New York, which means it's suddenly very important to read the road signs. New York does not play games with signage. One thing about New York State, it loves its parkways, and it has a lot of them. They sound friendly, right? Parkway. Nice name. Very misleading. These are low clearance highways, and trucks, buses, RVs, basically anything tall or expensive, are absolutely not welcome. They remind you of that too. Sign after sign after sign like, hey, just in case you were thinking about ruining your entire week, don't. Also, keep an eye out right next to the Exit 1 sign. You'll see the I Love New York marking. Very cheerful, very upbeat. A nice contrast to the history you're about to drive through. Because Port Jervis? This little city has a past that is anything but quiet. Port Jervis got its name from John Bloomfield Jervis, the engineer behind the Delaware and Hudson Canal. But long before that, the Lenape people called this place Mahakamak. Then came 1779. During the Revolutionary War, British and Mohawk forces led by Joseph Brant raided the town and burned it to the ground, just erased it. Imagine going to bed one night and waking up to your entire hometown gone. That's how Port Jervis was reborn. And somehow, it gets darker. On June 2nd, 1892, an African-American man named Robert Lewis was lynched right on Main Street. Broad daylight, a mob hanged him, and instead of charging people with murder, authorities indicted them for rioting. Let that sink in. Some historians believe that horror inspired Stephen Crane's novella The Monster. Crane actually lived here for a while and kept coming back through the 1890s, probably trying to process what he'd seen. Then the 1920s rolled in, because apparently history hadn't made its point yet. A Ku Klux Klan revival took hold here. Cross burnings lit up Point Peter, the mountain overlooking the city. Supposed to be a show of power, but really just proof that fear leaves stains that take generations to fade. Today, Port Jervis is best known for the Tri-States Monument, where New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania all touch. People take pictures there, smiling, arms out, 3 states at once. And I get it, it's a cool marker. But knowing the history, the ground feels heavier, like the land remembers everything, whether we want it to or not. Every town tells a story. Some just have chapters you don't expect. Port Jervis is one of those places where rivers and mountains do a great job hiding a past that still echoes if you know how to listen. And with that, we keep rolling, leaving the tri-state marker in the rear view, carrying its history with us down the road. Approaching exit 4 Mountain Road here in the Port Jervis, New York area. And after coming out of that uphill battle with the other trucks, it only makes sense that the road is about to cash that check with a long descent. That's how this terrain works. It giveth, and then it remindeth. The scenery just keeps delivering through here, which is pretty much the norm for this part of the state. There's very little development, no clutter, no concrete jungle creeping in, just trees. Dense, uninterrupted woods stretching as far as the eye can see, like the land collectively agreed to be left alone. It's one of those stretches where the road finally stops yelling at you. No billboards screaming for attention, no exits every 5 seconds, just gravity doing its thing and the landscape quietly reminding you that not everything needs to be built on. You ease it down, let the truck settle, and enjoy the fact that for a few miles at least, nature is still running the show. We're coming up on the Goshen, Middletown, New York exit 15 east-west, US 6 and New York 17, right here in the Middletown area. And this is one of those exits where you can almost feel the shift before you even see the sign. Traffic starts thinking, drivers start negotiating with themselves, everyone suddenly realizes they have choices now, and half of them are about to make the wrong one. Goshen and Middletown sit in that weird middle ground between small-town calm and just enough chaos. Far enough from the city that people expect peace and quiet, but close enough that reality keeps sneaking in through the cracks. You've got commuters, local traffic, through traffic, and the occasional "I just noticed my exit at the last second" crowd, all trying to coexist like that's a reasonable plan. The name Goshen always makes me laugh a little. Biblical, sounds holy, sounds like flowing milk and honey, or at least decent parking. But like most places with big, hopeful names, the reality is a lot more complicated. This area has layers: farmland, old neighborhoods, newer developments, and highways cutting straight through the middle of it all like they were never meant to ask permission. And Middletown. Middletown is exactly what the name says, the middle. Historically, it sat between everything else, and over time it turned into a hub, whether it asked for that job or not. Railroads, roads, people passing through, people deciding to stay. It's the kind of place that doesn't scream for attention, but somehow keeps ending up involved. As a driver, this is one of those spots where you stay sharp. Exits split east and west, speeds change, and people start doing math in their heads while already moving too fast. I hold my lane, keep my spacing, and let everyone else sort out their existential crisis about which direction their life, or at least their GPS, is taking them today. Just another reminder that the middle of somewhere can still be a busy place to pass through. Now check this out, an absolutely insane exit strategy just cuts me off like that. No hesitation, no shame. They couldn't just hang back for 3 seconds and exit like a normal, emotionally stable human being. Nope, you've got to exit with flair. Make it memorable, make it dramatic. Let everyone know you are here. That right there is what I call FOFT, fear of following trucks. It gets into people's heads. Something about being behind a truck makes folks feel like they're losing time, freedom, and possibly their entire identity. Even good drivers catch it. Perfectly sane people suddenly start acting like they're escaping a crime scene. Anyway, here's the thing. This place might sound biblical, named after the land of Goshen, like flowing milk and honey are just around the corner, but the stories that come out of here, yeah, not exactly Sunday school material. Take 2007, for example. An 18-year-old volunteer firefighter named Michael Cohn decided his way of helping the community was to set it on fire. Torched a house on Webster Avenue, then admitted to burning another house, a barn, and even a vehicle. A firefighter starts fires. That's not irony, that's irony doing push-ups. He said he was dealing with depression, and I don't doubt that, but his version of coping earned him 5 to 15 years behind bars. Fast forward to 2014, because apparently the town wasn't done yet. A couple broke into the home of 81-year-old Helen Mills, killed her just to steal cash for drugs, and then set fires to cover it up. Giordano got 20 years to life. That's not small-town gossip. That's the kind of story that makes you double-check your locks in the afternoon. And if all that wasn't enough, Goshen said, "You know what this needs? Legoland." Yep, a $500 million theme park dropped right here. First major Legoland in the Northeast in over 40 years. A 250-room Lego hotel, rides, models, 10,000 visitors a day. On paper, it sounds fun. Colorful bricks, happy kids, smiling mascots. In reality, absolute lightning rod. Locals fought it hard. Protests, lawsuits, accusations of backroom deals, and rushed approvals. People didn't move out here for bumper-to-bumper traffic and tour buses. They moved here for trees, quiet, and not having their streams turn into runoff experiments. And it wasn't just complaints. Inspectors hit Legoland with 67 environmental violations and over $600,000 in fines. So now you've got this split right down the middle. On one hand, promises of $88 million in fees and $61 million for schools over 20 years. On the other hand, a community is wondering if they traded peace for plastic bricks and parking lots. That's Goshen for you, a town where the stories jump from arson and murder to lawsuits and Legos without missing a beat. Just goes to show, even the quietest places can end up hosting the loudest battles. And with that, we roll past Goshen and ease back onto the highway, leaving the noise of its controversies in the rear view where it belongs. About to take exit 19AB toward Binghamton and Middletown, New York. This ramp also ties into I-87 South, straight down toward New York City. So yeah, this is one of those decision points where you slow it down, ease onto the ramp, and let the adrenaline drain a little. No hero moves here. By now, I'm just a few miles from my customer, and I can feel that first real sigh of relief starting to creep in. Not the full exhale yet, but the preview. But before we get there, we're passing the Middletown and Montgomery exits, and both of these places have more to them than you'd ever expect just blowing past on the highway. Middletown's history goes all the way back to the 1700s, and the name couldn't be more literal. It sat right in the middle of other settlements. Nothing poetic, no drama, just you're in the middle. But what did it turn into later on? That's where it gets interesting. This town ended up producing a surprisingly stacked lineup of people. Frank Shorter, Olympic marathon legend from here, Aaron Tavey, Broadway and screen actor from here, Willie Ninja, the dancer and choreographer who helped bring voguing into the mainstream, is also from here. Then you've got Christian Eckes tearing it up in the NASCAR Truck Series, and Little Sammy Davis, a bluesman who carried his own weight in music history. For a place that started as the middle, Middletown sure cranked out a lot of people who refused to stay there. Now Montgomery, named after Revolutionary War General Richard Montgomery, who was killed in battle in 1775, that kind of name sets a tone early. Sacrifice, ambition, unfinished business, and the town lived up to it in quieter ways over time. From here came Andrew H. Embler, a Medal of Honor recipient, and Levi S. Backus, the first deaf editor of an American newspaper. Think about that for a second. In a time when people were barely willing to listen at all, this guy was shaping public thought through print. Montgomery also produced inventors, athletes, politicians, people who didn't necessarily make noise but made an impact. And maybe that's the lesson sitting underneath both of these places. We like to think small towns just fade into the background, that they're just dots you pass through on the way to something bigger. But over and over again, they end up producing people who reshape culture, win medals, rewrite rules, and quietly move the needle. The irony is, sometimes the middle of nowhere turns out to be the middle of everything. And with that, we roll onto Highway 211 East, chasing down the last few miles to the customer. And you can tell immediately what kind of stretch this is. Shopping centers popping up, familiar signs everywhere, a mix of national franchises and local businesses all packed into the same few exits. You could drop this exact stretch of road in just about any state and nobody would question it. And honestly, that's the brilliance of franchising. It completely revolutionized American living. It standardized life in a way that made moving around the country easier than ever. You don't have to relearn how to exist every time you cross a state line. Same coffee, same burgers, same stores, same layout, like America agreed on a master template and just started copy-pasting it coast to coast. From a convenience standpoint, it's genius. You can land in a town you've never heard of, tired, hungry, half fried from the road, and still know exactly where to go and what you're gonna get. No surprises, no learning curve. It lowers the friction of travel in a big way. But at the same time, it's a little funny when you think about it. Different town, different history, different people. Yet here we are, surrounded by the same signs, the same menus, the same parking lot choreography. Comfort through repetition, familiarity over flavor. And maybe that's the trade-off we made. We gave up some uniqueness so life could run more smoothly. Less disruption, more predictability. Whether that's a win or a loss, probably depends on how tired you are when you pull off the highway. We've been on this two-way highway for a minute now, and you can tell it's starting to get to whoever's in the car ahead of me. That's when the bob and weave passing game begins. I get it. Following a slow truck can be frustrating. That's usually when FOFT kicks in. Fear of following trucks. It sneaks up on people. Where it really gets to me, though, is when this nonsense happens at night. Bright lights blasting straight into the side mirror. I wear glasses, so my tolerance for that kind of light show is already lower than most. These days, those headlights hit you, and your first thought is, why are your high beams on? Then you realize, nope, those aren't high beams. That's just how the lights are built now. And you're sitting there thinking, there is no way those things are legal. Feels like I'm being interrogated while driving. Now add to that, this bonehead trucker ahead of me drifting over the median line looks distracted to me. And on a narrow two-way road cutting through a residential neighborhood, that's not the time to be experimenting. That's not the place to be sloppy. A lot of things can go sideways real fast out here. Parked cars, driveways, kids, pets, you name it. But hey, what can you do? At this point, I guess I'll just sit back and enjoy the circus.
One comes around, one today. They don't see things the same. Two walk like two out the door. Then you have magic. around one today. They don't see things the same. Two walk like two out the door. Then you have magic. One comes around one today. They don't see things the same. Two walk like two out the door. Then you have magic. One comes around one today. They don't see things the same. Two walk like two out the door.
Okay, now I'm genuinely concerned, because this isn't just a little drift into the oncoming lane anymore. This guy is fully over there, like he paid rent in the wrong lane and decided to move in permanently. And on top of that, he's doing about 25 and a 55. 25. On a road where people expect you to at least pretend you want to get somewhere. Holy moly. Watch this, he almost clips the van coming the other way. I mean, that wasn't even a close call. That was one of those moments where everybody involved suddenly wakes up and goes, whoa, that almost went really bad. And I'm sitting here thinking, what in the world is going on right now? And more importantly, where are the cops when you actually need them? I'm not trying to snitch, but at this point, I'm not snitching. I'd just be reporting reality. Like, how is this okay? Who signed off on this behavior? Anyway, keep watching, because at this point, even I want to see how this ends. The car ahead is like, adios muchachos, I'm done with this foolishness, and just dips out. And now here I am, stuck behind this mess, left to fight it out solo. I thought there was strength in numbers, bro. Guess not. Anyway, fare thee well. Godspeed. Now it's just me sitting here trying to decide if this nonsense is manageable or if this driver is already too far gone to be helped. There's no point in even thinking about passing. I just end up getting edged off the road into a ditch, and I can't see far enough around them to safely assess anything anyway. That's how people turn a bad situation into a really bad day. Normally, this is where I'd lean on the highway horn, give them a good soul-rattling reminder that reality still exists. Just rock their brain back into alignment. But we're in a residential area, and that's not the move. The last thing I need is scaring somebody's dog, kid, or grandma over this nonsense. So the only option left is to follow them, keep my distance, stay alert, and make sure I've got exits in mind if things go sideways. Still though, this is ridiculous. And I don't say that lightly. This is ridiculous even by bad driving standards. But finally, there's light at the end of the tunnel. We make the most anticipated turn of this whole stretch. Trucks are prohibited from continuing on this road, which is music to my ears at this point. I'm only a couple of miles away from my destination anyway, so this nonsense is officially running out of road. Now don't get me wrong, the buffoonery with this bonehead does continue a little longer, because of course it does, but at least now there's an end in sight. I can practically feel the stress loosening its grip, knowing I won't have to babysit this situation for much longer. Sometimes the biggest relief on the road isn't arriving, it's just knowing you're about to escape the madness. Finally made it to the shipper, and let me tell you, I was more than happy to roll in here and officially call this run a wrap. This whole trip was right around 4 hours, so what you just watched is the short version, the highlight reel, the kept it moving edition. I'll be dropping a much more in-depth reaction-style podcast vibe video in the near future, where I really break things down and talk through the drive properly. That's something I plan on doing with all my future runs too, especially the ones that stretch across multiple days and way too many miles to squeeze into one sitting. Now, if you enjoyed riding along with me on this trip, do me a favor, hit that like button, share this with a friend, and drop a comment below. Let me know what you enjoyed most, and more importantly, what you think I could make even better next time. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. That one click helps this channel grow and lets me keep bringing you more stories, more roads, and more real moments from behind the wheel. Thanks for riding with me, and I'll see you in the next one.